Hey everybody. So go ahead and start coming up with some questions. You guys are
All right, so now we're getting into another episode of an Alpha 18 Q&A from the Fun Pimps, where Rick and Joel specifically and some of the team members are talking through some of the Alpha 18 changes, updates that they have put in for 7 Days to Die. And hope you enjoy this sort of commentary video of some of the parts that I think are a bit more important to cover in depth and discuss about. So we'd love to hear your feedback. Do leave the comments below. And of course, I will leave the link to the whole interview on the description below as well. So go have a look at that one. And it's about an hour, so it's fairly long. And that's why I've been trying to cover just some of the important and interesting bits.
Wait, when do we see the game coming out alpha?
Oh, the animal, yeah.
Oh, wait, I'll take this one first. We are dedicated to making a fantastic game. The gold version is not going to have as many bugs. It's going to be optimized around mid-level computers. It's going to capture the vision of quality we've always wanted to have for this game. So we, hopeful about this time next year we're going to be close, but
it's done when it's done.
We can't just summon a date and say, hey. I mean, that's what leads to a lot of rough landings. In Alpha 18, we're committed to a smoother landing. So
That is, it's always amusing to hear this kind of thing. So, for people who visit the forums often, it's fairly common to hear from Joel saying, they said that back in Alpha 16, that, Alpha 17 is going to be the last one. Well, then we're going gold after that. There's not going to be any more versions. And then you go through Alpha 7, it's like, we're going to have Alpha 18. And then, that will be pushing the bandits to, Alpha 19 or going gold, etc. And then it's like, okay, so what happened to going gold after this previous version and everything? And I think they recognize that it is a fairly long process. I think that they probably should have done updates a little bit more frequently than the 9 months that they're doing now, or 1.5 year that they did for Alpha 17. Get a bit more frequency in there so you can sort of see things progress faster, and then you can judge of sort of where are we going. There's still a lot of features that are not in there. We still don't really have NPCs, and I don't think they're going to do much of that in Alpha 18, at least that I've heard. So Alpha 19 might get some, they're bandits. It's still nowhere in there. We really need to have bandits, otherwise it's still just you against the zombies and nothing else, everything else dead. So we'll see. I don't think that we're going to get gold in 1 year, because that implies Alpha 19 only, because I don't think they're going to have 2 versions within the next 12 months. So, and is Alpha 19 going to be the last feature version? I don't think so. I think there's a lot more that needs to come in first.
Yeah,
as an example, but
it's already playing great, but we want to take that extra time to make sure it's special.
We got bandits and a few other things we want to do for the game and Final Quest. So on to another topic.
I think someone asked what the surprise secret animal was. It is a mountain lion, and I think he will be able to pounce on the players, kind of like the spiders do. So should be pretty exciting. Avoid the snow biome if you don't want to get pounced on by a vicious mountain lion.
Oh, nice. It's always nice to get extra, whether it's zombies or extra animals in this case. And I think having a mountain lion would be really cool. It's something that makes the game a little bit more alive. But in some cases, it was just more deadly to run across a pack of wolves than it was to run across a pack of zombies. And I think that's the wrong focus. You have to make sure that zombies are still the main danger, even though, of course, you want to sort of keep your eyes open for dangerous animals like be it wolves or dire wolves or mountain lions. You would imagine that mountain lions or wolves, etc., might be avoiding players more than they would be trying to eat them up. But maybe they're hungry.
So it's changed the way they path. Okay, well, so one change to the zombie behavior is that when you damage them, depending on the archetype of the zombie, there's a chance that they might get aggravated and do sort of a lunge behavior where they speed up for a little bit, and that really changes the game a bit.
It does.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's one change to it. There's some technical stuff to level design where we can group volumes for sleepers, so we can do odd.
So let's pause there and talk about the aggro mechanic, and they have been covering this on forums and some details where damage to zombies will cause them to, I guess, get a bit frustrated, get a bit angry, get a bit more aggressive. So they might speed up for a few seconds, 50% more speed, etc. So they're not all going to be just, here's a slow zombie walking towards you, and you keep hitting it, and he's just slowly walking. No, it's going to be, you might hit him with an arrow, and he starts sprinting for you. So even if it's not a feral one, so he might slowly be walking even towards you until you damage him, and then he might start sprinting for you. So you have to sort of take that behavior into account as you're exploring, as you're attacking them. You can't just slowly just kite them because it's daytime and they're just walking. So I think that's good. It brings a little bit more of the random behavior, remove some of that predictability where sort of, oh, you're having this wandering horde, they're all walking slowly because it's daytime, nothing's going to happen. Now it's going to be wandering horde, you start disturbing them, and some of them might start sprinting for you because you are aggroing them. And I think that's really nice. I think that has the potential to just sort of play things up a little bit and make it more interesting, make it more engaging, and not just as slow. Fine, now we're going to farm these zombies because they're just slow.
We're putting in stumbling and ragdolling zombies, so when they walk off a 2-story building, they might stumble or even ragdoll and tumble around on the ground, and it just really creates some funny moments. So I was walking down the road, and all of a sudden these zombies just started breaking out of a 2-story building out of the glass, and they're just splattered on the ground, and it's just totally funny. It's awesome.
And it's really nice. Small things like that. And ragdolling has been in the game for such a long time. And it makes more sense than they fall down, 5 stories, 10 stories, then they land on their feet and keep walking, or sort of stand and go like, oh, my leg, which you can see in some animations. Seeing them ragdoll and actually flop around and roll around, because that's generally what would happen if you're falling out through a 5-story window. I think that'll be just increase the engagement and sort of atmosphere of the game.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and speak just a little bit. We can't say much about the console situation. It's very complicated. It's been a financial mess and a legal mess. There's nothing that can be really determined yet on that. I'm sorry to say that, folks. You're going to have to be patient or buy the PC version.
Not a very, very good answer. It's maybe they have some reasons for negotiation between them and old bankrupt Telltale and whoever bought the assets in the bankruptcy proceedings, but it's a little bit that at this point you should be able to explain to people, this is really what the problem is, and this is sort of the prospect that we see it. And yeah, they're basically saying, well, sorry, we can't really tell you anything, but wait or buy the PC version. And that's not a really good answer because it's not very transparent. They have said before that they've brought back and terminated the licensing that Telltale had. So now they have their exclusive rights themselves again. But people are asking, so why aren't you publishing on the console, right? Because I believe there are other reasons, and I've covered that in a video before. But the Fun Pimps should be covering. They should be saying, hey, this is where we are right now. This is what we have. This is what we don't have. And, we might not have a solution, but this is where it is. Right now, it's just so opaque that people just get frustrated. And you can tell that every time I talk about consoles or mention it, or even a PC versions, there will be someone commenting and saying, screw this, the console version is now too behind and this crap and everything, because people are really frustrated, understandably so. And I do think the Fun Pimps should have been covering this more forthrightly, describe it, because I think that console, people bought the game on console. It's not that they have a legal right to know, but they have a right to know. I mean, they bought a game and then it's basically stopped providing updates, and it's none of their fault, but they are the ones suffering.
Are you fixing the bedroll land claim block bug where they deactivate and break?
Never heard of that one.
Don't know. You might have to go to the forums and try to give us more info on that.
Oh no. See, this is another reason why they need to be better connected, better stream of this thing, because people do mention about this, but they don't see it because they do have bug threads and everything, but people don't always go there and provide the feedback. And if you follow my channel, I've covered the bedrolls, I've covered the land claim blocks, where the bedrolls seem to pretty much always work, actually. Whatever you put in there, they're going to block all the spawns. Land claim blocks, Not so much. They'll break, they'll stop working, or they just will not block any spawns at all, even though they should be. And I've covered that in a couple of episodes where I really went through tested it. And people suggested maybe because I'm changing the default settings, the default values, which could be the case. Maybe because it's multiplayer, could be the case. Again, it's not working consistently all the time. It keeps breaking. I have that problem in my single player. Just my line claim block just gets deactivated. Sometimes the bedroll, but it's just a bit of a mess, and they seem to not be aware of it.
Something that's known or not
Are you
yet.
having any changes to create resources in the ground, or are they?
Oh.
Man, that would have been a great question when Robert was in the room.
Actually, we
That would have been a perfect
we
question
have-
then.
we have finally produced with the splat mapping tech. We finally produced these surface tells of.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we've completely re-engineered mining. So before you could never find a mine. I mean, the old system was supposedly if you hit the gravel maybe below a surface boulder, you might find what ore is underneath. And I was like, this just does not give the player the feedback that he needs. So now the way we're doing it is you will actually see an ore node or a patch on the ground of the exact ore that you're going to find underneath. So if you see iron ore on the surface, just start mining it, and then you're going to go down, and it's going to lead you straight to ore. So there's no guessing, wondering where did I miss the vein. I mean, you still might miss the vein, but you're going to be guaranteed a pretty significant amount of ore when you dig down, and it's pretty easy so far. I'm really loving it.
It's interesting that they're taking another pass at this. If you remember the previous versions of 7 Days to Die, there were always these surface piles of coal or nitrate or iron or lead that you could go and collect, which actually could give you quite a lot of resources. Then they removed them and they decided, no, we're just going to do this sampling of the gravel and let people mine that way. Now they're going back and sort of mixing them, saying, hey, fine, the gravel sampling was not obvious enough, so now we're going to put piles of these resources up on the ground again to make it easier. I personally, I'm a little bit ambivalent. I understand why they're saying it. A little bit unsure whether this is the best way, because even though it was an easy way of doing it, maybe you could have considered doing that as, perks or items or something that allowed you to locate certain materials. Maybe that would be something that would be more interesting rather than just bringing back this palette, because it is a little bit weird to say, hey, we're going to have a bunch of coal piles on the surface. I mean, you don't really see that normally. Or iron piles or nitrate piles. I mean, I know when I walk around the pristine Skåne, Sweden landscape, I don't see piles of coal around or iron, etc. So it doesn't make sense that you see that in 7 Days to Die, even though it makes it easier. I think that maybe there's other ways to resolve that issue, but maybe they decided this is the easiest way for now, and maybe it's not even the final version. But at least they're addressing that concern that you just can't find the materials, because it is an issue. People go like, I need nitrate and coal for my gunpowder. I just can't find it, and this is a way to help resolve it.
Speaking of XP, the testing team has engineered the 4 archetypes we're saying that players have. There's the quester, there's the killer, there's the crafter, builder, and then there's the miner. And they don't all do exclusively those activities, but we've identified those as XP kind of groups. So mining XP is not quite as overkill OP as it was. Yeah, we're balancing it, and we're going to have telemetry on Alpha 18 to further balance the game.
And we've removed level gates, so you can specialize immediately and go all the way to 10 strength as fast as you can if you want, and max out your strength perks.
And that bears special call out, because I've said it before, level gates are just painful for the player. Why do I have to be level 100 before I can craft my gyrocopter? If I'm just spending all my effort on doing that, why do I have to go out and kill another 10,000 zombies just to get to the level so I can do it? It just an artificial, just makes it harder. If I want to make my base, if I can find everything to make concrete by day 3, if I'm really lucky or really smart at doing that, why do I have to wait until I'm level 40, meaning I have to go out and kill a bunch of zombies to do that? Why? It doesn't make sense. And it just makes progression very artificial. In early versions, I basically didn't really care much about killing zombies. I just did it because you ran across them. Yeah, I wanted to get the loot or whatever it is. Now in Alpha 7, it's sort of like, people are even saying that, if you don't get the experience, you're just not playing the game because you really need the experience to level up. And that's sort of true. I don't always do it that way, but it's for some people sort of like a zombie kill that you don't get experience from, such as from your traps, is just a wasted kill because you could have gotten that experience and gotten the level and gotten more perks, and that's really important. So good on them to remove the level gating, at least on the perks.
Yeah, you can try. You can just
Changes to the traders, they now sell vehicles. So if you've got $100,000, you can go buy a gyrocopter.
You got to save up some money.
Yeah, it's $100,000 for a
or play like
gyrocopter.
Sasha.
Yeah, or like Sasha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's nice to be able to buy the vehicles. That was always something that you had to craft. You couldn't find them, you couldn't buy them, you had to craft them, which it forces you to spend those perk points and those intelligence skills. And I think that's nice that you can avoid that if you save up. And you can find some of the pieces, so you can buy others, or you can buy the whole vehicle. I think that's a great change. Just allows you to be a miner, be a zombie killer without having to spec into crafting vehicles.
Oh, we do have somebody's asking about new zombies. We do have a nasty guy, don't we?
The Demolisher.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a new Demolisher zombie, and the intent with him is, he was like a demolitions expert or something, and he's all strapped with all the bombs that he defused from, and he's got a flashing red light on his chest. So if you can hit that sweet spot with your rifle or whatever, he might blow up and kind of mitigate damage, but otherwise when he gets close enough to your base, he's just gonna, if he gets stuck, he might pretty much get mad and blow up, something like that.
Yeah, he's
No,
gonna knock a large hole for the others to get in. It's like what's
Nice, they're adding new zombies. I'm not really sure a demolish a zombie with explosives. I mean, it's a little bit like a truck is loaded in Red Alert, but there you have humans who are actually being suicide bombers. Here you have a zombie that sure maybe he's got explosives on, but if you kill him, why would the explosives explode just because you killed the zombie? Or how is he actually triggering it just because he's outside of your walls? Bit of a I don't know. It's not very zombie-like, and again, we already have that problem with the cops exploding. They cause massive problem because of the damage. The damage goes through blocks and everything. Hopefully, they really fix that as well, because that would be a nightmare having even more of these exploding zombies. Maybe they remove that from the cop. Maybe that would be nice. Keep the cop as the vomiter and not exploding, but having the demolisher being the explosive. But it does look like you can't actually mitigate him, can't kill him before he explodes. He will always explode. And I don't know, at least with the police officer, the cop, you can kill him and while he's ticking. But if you can't do that with the demolisher, it means that he's going to do massive damage somewhere. And I don't know, I always like having a way to mitigate the attributes or the skills or the features that is part of the zombies, so you actually can avoid them and not always, in this case, having massive damage to your base.
Yeah.
food recipe.
Okay.
Any new food recipes in the works? Anything food or recipes?
I thought there was some new food items.
Well, there's schematics now for every food recipe. So if you don't want to perk into Masterchef, you'll be able to find the schematics for every food, or recipe cards for every food recipe.
Tazio, that's probably a no on that.
And I think that, again, back to what he discussed previously, you can either perk in it or you can find the schematic. But then he was also looking at keeping the perk relevant, so you would get more bonuses than if you only found it from schematic. I don't know how they're going to do that balancing. This potentially an issue, because if some perks have schematics that you can unlock so you don't have to do the perk, then taking those ones are less worthwhile than taking perks that you actually can't unlock through schematics. And I don't think all the perks can be unlocked through schematics either. So maybe food does it, but they might as well just take a fighting skill and wait until they find the schematics for a particular food item.
Can we get all the blocks available to us for crafting? No.
We're making some organizational changes to make the menu less frustrating to get through, and moving some of the recipes to workbench and table saw.
Yeah.
Some organization there.
Yeah, we've done some organizational changes, so it should be easier to find what you're looking for.
And we have an overall plan to make the shape menu just a single recipe that accesses multiple in the long run. We want to do that feature. Would be a great welcome change for in-game or level designers.
not just for level design. I think the answer here is that no, they don't want to allow us access to all the blocks, and I think that they should be. For long-term players, building is a big issue. Building was also a problem in Alpha 17 for various reasons, but you want to make that easier. And I think this is a feature that they should be bringing in a lot sooner rather than later to allow building to be more effective, to be more enjoyable, easier for people rather than having to craft 15 different types and then seeing what fits. Basically, just you have one concrete block, and then you sort of, as you want to place it, you select which one you want to have. They've been talking about this feature for a long time now, and I think they should just make sure it gets in there, just help with the base building.
Timing on 18.
Don't do it.
Well, this is
Well,
well, I suspect we have about another 5 weeks of work.
oh, I know what you say.
No, that's just it. I mean, we got to get the seclusion system has to land, and it has to land good. The level design
I'm
optimization.
deleting the blog. There's nobody click anything.
We never like to commit to dates because it's hard to predict.
Is to have, they should just be quiet about it. Don't say anything, because every time they say, "Oh, I was probably going to be in June," and then, "Oh, probably July." Oh no, it's August, and now it's beginning of July or end of June, and they're saying, yeah, at least 5 weeks of work, but then you have more testing and balancing after that, and then experimental will come out, and it's going to be at least end of August, maybe it'll be September, maybe it'll be December, like last time the Alpha 17, and they shouldn't be talking about these things unless they really know it, because 5 weeks out. That's what they said about Alpha 17 kind of thing a year ago, and it took an extra, 4 or 5 months before they released it. Just don't take any of this as gospel. It's going to be out when it's out.
Let's see.
What kind of vehicle mods?
Uh-oh. We lost it. No, we didn't lose it up there.
It's just lagging here.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we're gonna. I think Alpha 19 we're gonna do a bunch of mods and legendary stuff.
Yeah, we're planning on kind of refactoring the mods, and we want to do a procedural legendary system, so you can find a random named unique weapon with random stats.
Yeah, either way, they've been saying that mods, vehicle mods, etc. is not going to be tremendously different in Alpha 18. I think it's going to go for Alpha 19. I think they don't want to bring that in. So it'll be nice when it comes, probably, to have a bit more randomized. At least we have that random stats right now coming into Alpha 18, but not the mods.
Let's see can we get more video updates with Joel and.
Yes, I plan on, when I get home, I'm going to be shooting some more videos for you guys. I plan on doing books. I'm going to do one on overall gameplay changes. Probably I'll start showcasing new weapons, but we're going to have some other contributors, and we're going to be doing all the videos on the Fun Pimps YouTube channel. So there's one spot for all the contributors to kind of pitch in, so you guys will be able to get a lot more content, not be waiting around. What's Madmole doing?
Good. This is something people really are appreciating. People do complain about Madmole sometime when he does his videos, because maybe he doesn't do it the way they want to, etc. And there are some truths in there. I mean, he does try to do his best, and of course he has a different focus than players often have. But it's nice the more they can get out there. If you're getting one video in 1 month and you don't like it, you're going to be railing on it. If you're getting 50 videos in 1 month, if 1 or 2 doesn't work, or 10 or 15, then of course you have a lot of still other videos that you can watch that you enjoy more, and then it's less of an issue. People in general just want to have the content. They want to see what's happening, what's coming in, and I think that providing these walkthrough videos are something that they should be doing. Maybe Joel is not the best person to do it, but at least he's doing it, and we'll see. They're talking about having more contributors, and that's nice. I know last time in Alpha 17 they had some other people putting out a couple of videos for other features that they were working on. I think that's nice. It's nice to hear from the developers as they do that as well.
Free dinner, paint textures. Okay, so there's a lot of new textures as far as the updating of textures. Textures look. Justin and Joey, a couple of the artists, are overhauling a lot of the paintable textures, and so the game's looking
all new terrain textures to go with our new terrain shader and splat map technology. So the outside will be totally gorgeous when it's finished, and we're continuing to update the interior textures to PBR support.
Paint textures. We want better textures. I'm not really sure where they were addressing that here. They were sort of talking about terrain textures. I want to have more better textures. Let people build, let them paint, let them decorate, make their bases, just pimp them out. That was more of a problem in Alpha 17 than Alpha 16. So I hope they really do that. Give us some clean, nice textures, clean, nice items that you craft, not this moldy wooden table when you just put it together from nice fresh planks and it still comes out like this moldy crap table. Give us some nice stuff to make our bases look good.
No support for modding community. Yeah, hats off to a lot of the guys on our team who are interested in supporting mods for the game and workshop.
We're planning on workshop support when we go gold.
Robert,
We try to make sure that whenever we're putting in new things, if we can, we make it accessible for XML so that you guys can, make changes. I know the quest systems, the new passive effects, all that stuff. We made sure that it was,
when you get random.
And I think that's nice. I hope they put in workshops sooner rather than later. They have been talking about doing that in gold. It is something that would really be helpful. I know there's the mod launcher that allows you to do that, but again, that's not an official application, and again, it doesn't work for everything. You want to effectively be able to do where if you play on your client, you can play with whatever mods you want very easily. You connect to a server. You don't have to download and configure anything yourself. It takes whatever it wants as part of hooking up and connecting to that server. Right now, that's a bit of a problem. I know I run my own sub-server where the players have to download and install, and of course the install is pretty easy, but they have to download and get them unzipped and everything manually before they can connect to the server, and that's just a pain. And you look at other games like Conan Exiles and Ark, which handles that so much better. Literally, you connect and that's it. Everything works fine.
Can you make traders less of a rip-off?
No, we cannot.
Come on.
You got to perk in your better barter if you want to get marked off.
Right. Spend some perk points. You're going to be okay.
It's the apocalypse. Stuff's hard to come by.
Exactly, and that's the point. The dude can't sell it for cheap. He's got to make a living.
Yeah, and I think that's the wrong approach. If you're looking at Alpha 17, you come there with a nice revolver and everything, and the trader says, "Yeah, no, I'll buy it to you for 15 dukes," and then he turns around and says, "I'm going to sell it for 15,000." It's of course not as bad as that, but it's almost. It's sort of like you come in with an armory of weapons, and he said, "Yeah, no, I'll give you 500 dukes for all of it, but I'm going to sell it, price all of them as 150,000." It's a huge discrepancy there. Either weapons are plentiful, and in which case they should be relatively cheap to buy, or they're really rare, and then he should be paying more to buy them. They have just, I think, spread that way apart, unfortunately.
So we can get rid of all
The death penalty. We were talking about a different death penalty.
But we didn't decide on it.
No.
With lower XP maybe, of that level or something.
Yeah, I don't know if
We're still talking about
we're
that.
trying not to add any more scope to 17 because we know it's 18 because you guys, 18. So you guys know, can get it sooner.
Yeah.
Death penalty, always a contentious issue. Maybe they should allow that as part of the options. Want to have a death penalty, yes or no, how severe it is, because some people really hate it, some people love it, some people are in between, and at least give people the option. If something is really contentious, you can make an option for it in the game, do that, because then the people get pissed off at having a bad death penalty, they just disable it and they play them, they'll be happy. People like it, just keep it on. Give the players the option.
Want a flamethrower? I've always wanted a flamethrower. I'm with you on that.
We have a flamethrower trap, and
that's right.
Sitting there. We just need a programmer to hook it up.
I think they're talking about a makeshift handheld.
Only that programmer wasn't busy doing other stuff.
Maybe.
Well, they had a flamethrower in Jake's firearms model, he could do it. You have a flamethrower trap, for the past 2 years. Get it done. These are things that you want to get done to make it cool for the players. A lot of other stuff, it's good and everything, but these are the things that they should take the time. If you spend developers 1 month to do it, just get it done because it's really cool. Having a flamethrower trap, it will make a difference to people's experience.
19, we can get a flamethrower in.
Actually, possibly.
Oh,
I was about to say something. No.
you forgot it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, it is a little bit late for us.
Yeah.
We may have to say goodbye for the day, and
Yes.
we're going to do this again, and we're going to be doing some lives, probably
And
streaming.
we promise we will have a better mic next time we do this.
So they're covering the mind thing. So thank you, Fun Pimps. I do appreciate you having a bit of a Q&A, just covering some of these things. And I think having all this going forward, over the next, I guess, 2 months until release or whatever it is, I think will help do the weekly, bi-weekly thing, at least get some comment out there so people can provide comment and feedback, because I know there are changes that they're making as a result of it. So thank you for taking the effort. And yes, better mic would be good, better setting, have some couches and everything, crackling fireplace in the background or something, or at least a green screen so you can put in a crackling fake fireplace or something. But thank you very much. But I hope you appreciate this commentary. And again, make sure you comment below what you think of it, and give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.